Om Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. Sri Ramakrishna is explaining what is bhakti. He said, every type of devotion, bhakti, cannot, of course, it has great value in our life, but will not be able to realize God. For realizing God, ecstatic love of God is necessary. Ordinary devotion to God will keep you safe in the world, but it will not allow you to transcend the nature and go. Whole nature in its entirety, the whole universe, you have to transcend and go beyond. All limitations, all bonds must break. What kind of love, what kind of devotion, bhakti you must have, Sri Ramakrishna is explaining to us here. But it is not any and every kind of bhakti that enables one to realize God. It has great value. Even ordinary, just lighting a incense in front of God has great value of unimaginable dimensions. It keeps you safe in this world. But to transcend, the purpose of human life is to get total release from this nature forever and entering into, we are longing for small pleasures of the world, momentary, which is going to bind us and causes of suffering and bondage, that we are running after. And what is that unending, eternal ocean of bliss in which you are going to enter? Eternity. Here everything is momentary, passing. We meet and part. There it is unchanging eternal reality, constant unending bliss, free from all bondages and suffering. In eternity you are entering. What it could be, even difficult to imagine. You yourself being Ananda, Swarupa, bliss, absolute, you are diving into the ocean of bliss, absolute, and floating in it with great joy. And if you need, you can take God Himself as your companion in whatever form, in whatever way, in whatever relationship you want. You can enjoy the company of God. Realize God. One cannot realize God without prema bhakti. Another name for prema bhakti is raga bhakti. Supreme love, which makes one attached only to God. Raga bhakti, prema bhakti, various grades of love, beginning with narcissistic stage of love when a child is born, able to move about, just standing on its two legs and walking in this world. How much pleasing it will be to its mother, and how much the love that mother expresses is parental love. When the child is expressing, it cannot love others yet. It loves itself. It wants appreciation. It dances and shows. This is called narcissistic stage, when a child is loving itself. Every bit, it gets up in the morning. It wants to be free. Nobody should catch him. He wants to move freely about. It is seeking in itself the freedom. It is in me, the freedom. The joy is in me. it doesn't take joy from other things, other people. We seek company, they escape company. They want to be far away and show themselves. It is self-love. It's called narcissistic stage of love. Then when they go to school with other children and all, we see boys playing together, girls playing together in small ages. This is the homo stage of love. Then it slowly matures into heterosexual love, opposite genders liking each other. Then they beget children, and the love turns out to be parental love. Parental love is mostly the first time the love is taking the shape of sacrifice. Here the purity of the love is seen in its shades, in the small like shadow of the real love. Still there is expectation, demands, teaching, this, that, and exercising control. All this is in the midst of the duties and responsibilities towards the child and its expectations to higher levels of consciousness, expansion. The mother is not able to give love to the child in its fullness. Now the love is still limited. When around the age of 36 to 48, the parental love gets a little maturity of love being independent of the progeny. Other children also it treats as equal. Oh, these are also just like my children. Heart is expanding. The love is expanding. First time the woman feels, parents feel, they are also my children. I have to take care of them. Anything happens, what she gives to her child, she is ready to give to the other child also. It goes on. Then we will see that is expanding limitlessly, slowly, as our selfishness, small-mindedness and all come down. It takes a entirely different universal love. A universal love in its perfection. You see absolute equanimity. It is not seeing any quality in any person, good or bad, right or wrong, nothing. A sinner or saint, beautiful or ugly, dirty or clean, now no differences. Just love, love, love. As they are, whatever they are, irrespective of their behavior towards oneself, towards others, love flows. This is universal love, which doesn't differentiate in any way. Universal love. You can see this love in saints and in incarnations of God. Absolute equanimity. Then it turns out to be divine love. In divine love, to love God intimately, because they see whole universe in Him and Him pervading the entire universe. To that stage. And this love, universal love, slowly condenses again, shrinks again, to become focused on the God, personal aspect of God, whom we call Ishta Devata. I select a particular form, name. Same God, the all-pervading, the eternal God, is taking a human form for if the devotee wants. If he is lover of Nirguna Nirakara, formless aspect of God, well, God appears to him, approaches him in the same way as the devotee approaches him. Whatever, he could be Vaishnava, it could be Shakta, it could be Shaiva, worshipper Shiva, Durga or Devi or Shakti in any aspect Shakta, or Vaishnava, any aspect of Vishnu, the controller of the world, any aspect of God, they love. God responds in the same way because God is unlimited and fully conscious. So he focuses the whole thing. When focuses, the rest of the existence is out of the consciousness. Till now, it expanded to the cosmic level. From cosmic level of God, it is focusing again on the personal aspect. Here, first it is the beginning of the Prema Bhakti. Here, Prema Bhakti or Raga Bhakti is making the devotee forgetful of the rest of the existence except the manifestation with which he has developed a personal relationship to the exclusion of all the rest of the things. Be God the absolute, be God the all-pervading, God himself as the universe, as the indweller, whatever aspect of God is there, all that is kept aside by the awareness. That one form, one aspect of God is in his awareness, is dancing in his heart. All senses are turned inward. The whole bodily existence has become still, and his awareness, his existence is merged in God, and God is the only occupant of his whole of his existence, body, mind, complex, whatever is there. The whole thing is pervaded by nothing else than the God. This is Prema Bhakti. It wants to become one with God. It cannot resist. It is not able to bear the pangs of separation anymore. It wants to become. Just like a river that originates in the hill or mountain, flows down, rushing forth towards the ocean. The jiva rushes forth towards it wants to join the ocean again. From ocean it had its origin as cloud, and as rain it fell on the mountains, became ice, and as glaciers started flowing down the mountain it acquired the gravity, momentum, and rushing towards this last merging in the ocean. That is that Prema Bhakti, irresistible pull towards the ocean. The jiva being pulled towards the God. This is we call the Prema Bhakti, or what Sri Ramakrishna calls it, another aspect of Prema Bhakti, as the Raga Bhakti. Raga Bhakti. Raga Anuraga. Raga is intense attachment. Raga Dvesha. Raga. Attachment means nothing can separate them from each other. Just like whole my life is focused on it. Life is clinging to that. If it is not there, life won't be there. Now, suppose I love my wealth. With great difficulty I have acquired wealth. Wealth is my life, as if the wealth goes means I collapse. I won't be there in this body. For some people, maybe a person is so attached that that person dies, this person also dies. Like that, I cannot live without it. That kind of, that is called raga. Anuraga. Anuraga is time passes. States of our existence, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti is passing away. Days are passing away, years are passing away. But this attachment is constantly there. Unbroken attachment. This attachment is called the Raga Bhakti. Prema Bhakti and Raga Bhakti, they mean the same. So Sri Ramakrishna is telling, but any and every kind of bhakti that enables not to realize God. One cannot realize God without Prema Bhakti. Another name for Prema Bhakti is Raga Bhakti. God cannot be realized without love and longing. Love and longing. Love is the form of highest sacrifice. Bhakti Satu Tyaga Swarupa. The love of God is Tyaga Swarupa. Any love for that sake, it is Tyaga Swarupa, and Tyaga to the highest and ultimate peak is love of God, where I unconditionally sacrifice myself, give myself entirely, without any residue, without any reservations, without any conditions, forever to be His and His alone, never to take back, never to go away, never to have any independent decision, mind or resolution or even sankalpa, nothing. I am His and His forever and evermore. That kind of love and longing. Longing is, I want, without it I cannot. It's just like Sri Ramakrishna takes someone, says about the person, Guru taking the disciple to the river. I will show you what is longing for God. He pushes his head under water. That will be struggling. How long can he hold the breath? When the impossible to remain any moment, anymore, even seconds he is not able to live without breath, he struggles and lifts his head. Guru lifts the head and says, how did you find? One more second, I would die away. My body would go away. The hold has its limits. How long can I hold? 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes? After that, the life is going to go away. Like that, when you feel panting for union with God, to see Him, to talk to Him, to touch Him, to be in His company, to interact with Him, then it is called longing and love. Without that, you cannot realize God. Cannot be until God cannot be realized without love and longing. Unless one has learned to love God, one cannot realize Him. Unless one has learned to love God. Learning. Learning is, when the term learning is used, it is not something which is put from inside. It is something that is taken out from inside. He is learning. Child is learning to walk. The capability of walking, we are not going to give him. It is embedded within him. I am teaching not to how to walk, but to make that power that he can walk manifest externally and occupy the feet and brain. He is able to walk, he is able to balance himself, walk. So it is already there, nature is already provided. Love is within. What is this love? Love is the flow or manifestation of the Atman. That is the only vehicle of the Jiva, his own vehicle, part of his existence itself, you can say, love, which can make him reach the transcendental limits of being one with God. So here we see him expanding love. So this pouring inside, my heart is pouring. What is it pouring away? Myself, my Atman. I am infinite within, from body to intellect, various layers. Intellect being last layer of the Prakriti. Then comes the in-between, no man's land of Prajna. It is neither belongs to the Prakriti nor to the Chaitanya. And crossing that we enter into the realm of spirit, pure Chaitanya. Now here when Sri Ramakrishna says learning, it is the beyond, the infinite, eternal, unchanging Atman, the ocean of bliss, love, peace absolute. It is that it is flowing out as the love. When I love something, I am melting myself and flowing out. It is like an unending ocean pouring out itself. Atman is pouring out. This is love. And this love, we have seen earlier, when it is focused on any object of this world, because this is limited by time and space, the moment I turn it, its vent becomes shrunken. It starts dripping. Because that doesn't deserve nor it can accommodate. I love someone, it cannot accommodate. Why can't it accommodate? I love some person. I love my child. That child cannot receive my love because it is limited. Now, the electricity is there. In these bulbs, 110 volts can alone flow. In Indian lights, 220 volts can flow. Suppose a bulb is there, 440 volts flows. It cannot bear, it fuses, it gets fused. So, nature knows, on whom he is focusing, whether it is child or friend or companion, it cannot bear. So it's mouth, and he cannot give. There is limitation. The limited I am when I focus to it. When I focus again, see the divine, the moment I start seeing divine, the universe expands, the lives expand, it becomes innumerable. My love becomes again torrents, because whole universe, love is becoming universal. When it is focused on God, the love, it has no limits. All limits break and start flowing. From the infinite, it is flowing through this bodily existence, and in the form, it is flowing and entering into the absolute behind. This is learning to love, is to open the heart and accommodate God within. And wherever I turn my eyes, wherever I see in any aspect of this world, I must be able to see the divine. Then, if I love God, I love everyone. If I love God, I love every object. There is nothing that I don't love, because I love God. God has manifested here as the moment I love God. And this learning to love God is it is implied that He is loving all. He is loving this universe. He is loving nature. He is loving. This is because God consists of the Jiva and Jagat. His love for God is. Now, to learn to love this is I don't see anywhere any kind of limitation. The moment I see divine, all limitations are broken. Same child whom I was loving as my child is limiting itself. Now I was loving my child, it is focusing. I see now the same child with divine attitude. I see the divine. All limitations break and my heart opens. My love opens. In torrents it comes because I am seeing divine there. The moment I see my child, it immediately shrinks down. The moment I see divine in it, it flows out. So how it flows out? Now, wherever I see, wherever my sight goes, wherever my senses go, I see divine there. To see divine everywhere is a part of loving God. To learn to love God, I must see a divine in everyone, divine everything. I must not be able to see I have no complaint, anything that's happening in the world. I have my duties to perform. Somebody is doing some injustice. I have to accept it without any question, without reasoning, without logic. I can never say he's doing wrong. I have to just offer it to the divine. Oh Lord, look here. Which people call injustice is happening there. Everything is divine. You are playing this game. I offer this sight to you. He is happy with everything because the positive and negative aspect of the creation are going together. He is beyond all that. He is seeing divine. To love nature, to love all beings without bringing any defects, with total acceptance, is to love God. To love every being is to love God. There is no enemy for a spiritual aspirant in this world. Only enemies are internal, external is God in absolute. So loving God is on one side, and I have to keep my inner world absolutely pure and clean, that God can not only come inside me, not only He can take His seat there, but He must be able to run about in my heart to corner, such a clean, in any corner, in nook and corners of existence, anywhere you see, there is divine, there is purity, there is divinity, that God can freely run about and play. So, this is the learning to love God. Learning to love God is to accept the world as it is and love it. Help nature to preserve herself in every aspect and to keep inner heart, inner layers pure and divine. So this becomes the learning to love God. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.